this is Pavlina from Pavlina's Kids Plays. I'm on location in Tallahassee, Florida with the President of the Florida Senate, Senate President Mike Haridopolos. Hello.
Hello, great to be here, and thanks for joining us. Glad you're up.
Yeah, so thank you for letting me interview you. So, growing up, what do you think prepared you, as a leader for what you do now?
Well, I think the most important thing growing up is I had two great parents. My dad is a former FBI agent.
Oh, wow.
He was a special agent for the FBI, and they instilled a lot of values in me that really made a difference. My mom was more of a stay-at-home mom, but she also did some volunteering with me and my older brother. And they kind of instilled the belief that in America is anything possible as long as you get a good education.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the key element. And having a father who was an FBI agent, being involved in government was a natural affinity for me, and I really enjoyed it. And then I think the other thing that was important is I had teachers. I went to a public school growing up, and I had some wonderful teachers who got me really interested in politics and history. And I've always believed that history, when it's most interesting, is not when you just worry about dates.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a math class. I like when it becomes more like a psychology class where you learn about people, whether it be Thomas Jefferson or Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Martin Luther King, all intriguing figures, and you learn about their lives and what it took for them to find success. So I think the most important thing is just a great education and knowing that I had two parents at home who cared about me deeply. That was probably the biggest impact in my life.
Nice. Okay, good. So, kids have all kinds of obstacles growing up. What was your obstacle and how did you deal with it?
Well, I think that, I remember going back trying to think that through. I think one of the biggest obstacles was because my dad was an FBI agent, we moved around a bunch. And so I was always kind of the new kid in class, and so I had to learn how to adjust. And to give you an idea, the differences, part of my early years I was in New York City, and my grade school years were in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Those are a little bit different places. And so I had to make those adjustments. Then after grade school, I went back to New York, this time on Long Island, a place called Garden City, for junior high and high school. So that was kind of tough, moving and making new friends. I think that's always tough. But again, the rock for me was, again, my parents. They cared deeply for me. And, you know, when you go to bed at night and you know your parents love you, that comfort is huge, especially as, you know, being a teenager yourself growing up. So I think that was probably the hardest obstacle I had. Fortunately, I played a lot of sports, and that was a lot of fun. That was an easy way to make friends, and I always did pretty well in school. And again, a big influence in there was not just my parents, but I had teachers I knew who cared.
Yeah.
And as a teacher myself, I think it's imperative that you show your students you care, and you're as good a listener as you are a talker.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so you're described by the media as a really energetic person. What makes you energetic every day?
Well, you know, I love what I do.
Yeah.
As you know, I teach it now at the University of Florida. I've been teaching at the college level for almost 20 years, U.S. history and politics. I had the coolest job in the state, I think, the President of the Senate, the leader of the Senate. There's only 40 senators in our state. And so if you can't be excited to go to work every day, I mean, this is so cool. I have the best jobs. Plus, my wife is very supportive. She's a medical doctor. We have 3 great kids. And I just love what I do. And so when people say, do you like your job? No, I love my job.
Yeah.
It's a challenge every day, don't get me wrong, but it's a remarkable experience. And that's I've always tried to encourage people. You know, some people are motivated by money and other things. If you pick a job you love doing, the money's eventually going to come. The more important thing is you go to work excited every day. But I think just I'm a high energy person because I love what I do, and it makes it easier to do that way. So hopefully other people feed off that energy. I got some great friends who are high energy people too, and it's really serving me well.
Awesome. Okay. So what do you like best about your job?
I think the best part is that you get to be a part of history.
Yeah.
I have very strong beliefs on many issues. And I believe in what Teddy Roosevelt believed in, is the idea of being in the arena. The arena meaning politics. Not being the critic yelling at people, but if you're going to change something, you're going to improve something, you're going to be engaged in it and try to make it better. In fact, behind us is the Teddy Roosevelt poem, which talked about being in the arena. And I think that's just really important. So that's what I love most about my job. And what I try to be more than anything else in this job is be a very good listener. You notice when you walk in, there are no doors on my office, and I have kind of an open door policy because I've always found that when I'm talking, I don't learn anything new. And so when I listen, I learn a lot more, and I've always tried to keep that open door policy. I think one of the reasons I became the leader of the Senate at such a young age is because not I'm a super talker or big speech maker, is that I listen to my fellow senators, and when they have concerns, I try to address those in a thoughtful way.
Awesome. Okay. So, if you could say one thing to someone who's never come to the Capitol, like it's their first time, what would you say?
Well, I think what's so neat about coming to the Capitol is it's so accessible. I mean, we're the Sunshine State. You can go to a committee meeting, whether you be 14 years old or 41 years old like me, and come testify before a committee. And all you have to do is fill out a form, tell them who you are. Same thing, if you want to make an appointment with a representative or senator, they usually will give you the time. And I think that's so neat. Because you can watch the Florida channel, which is great, or the newscast, but when you come here and you see it in person, it comes alive. As I mentioned before, I love sports. My favorite sports are football and NASCAR. I love racing. And it's one thing to watch it on TV, and it's a whole nother matter to experience it firsthand. And so if you have the chance, like you've done, of course, to be a page, it's wonderful. Or maybe just your parents could come up and you can watch a session of the legislature. Because, as you know, when you're watching it from the maybe the fifth floor, the Capitol, or the House and Senate floor, and the fourth floor, you can go up to the gallery and watch it. It's always so much different when you watch it in person versus watch it on TV. So I think it's a great experience. And again, unlike other state capitals, we're so accessible, meaning you can come and testify, you can walk around my office or go to see the governor. I just think that's really neat. And it hopefully brings a better connection between the citizens of our state and the people they've elected.
Awesome. Good. So what's the best advice that you've ever gotten, and why is it important to you?
Well, the best advice, I think, comes from the Bible, the book of James. Be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. And I think that advice serves everybody well. And as I mentioned before, I think we're so sometimes, especially in this culture of today of trying to be on TV or be in the newspaper or be famous, I think the best way that you're going to make an impact and make, for that matter, the most friends, and you're a very good one at that, is be a good listener. As you've met so many neat people. I saw your list, and one of my favorite people, as I mentioned, is Mike Huckabee. Just a great listener, but he's also a funny guy. And I think the best thing you can ever do for a young person is, if you're a good listener, you're going to make so many friends, because candidly, people love to talk about themselves. So if you're a listener and you always listen to their issues, they're going to want to hang out with you. It's not the person who's always talking who has the most friends, in my opinion. Long term, I think it's the person who does the best job listening, and really listens, not just takes it in, but responds and gives feedback and really cares about that person. Because in this world today, if you're selfish, it's a great short-term proposition. You'll get some of your things short-term. But I hope that a lot of young people, especially with the temptation of the internet and everything else going on, that they try to think long-term. And the best way to make long-term friends, to make a long-term impact, is to listen before you speak, and really think through what's important to you. Because this is, again, we think about all the opportunities in the world. You've created your own opportunity. I mean, I don't know how you came up with the idea. You got interested in it, right? But what did you do? You didn't just talk about what you were going to do. You probably talked to and listen to other people who've been successful, and you asked them these same type of questions. And so what you did after hearing that good information, you acted on it. And because of that, you never know what door might open. I've had a lot of success and I've had some failures in life, but I like to say sometimes God closes a door but opens a window. So as you're going down this path, and you make your decisions in junior high, or middle school, high school, and after college, you're going to meet people that are going to influence you in a positive way and a negative way. And what the cool thing what you've done by interviewing all these people is that you're going to have so much more information to draw from as you make a really big decision of where you go to college, a really big decision of what you want to do for a living, and maybe someday when you get married or to have children. But I loved what you've done, because you're smart enough to realize that you don't know it all. God, not ourselves, is the center of the universe, and that there are things bigger than ourselves. And so as you continue to interview people, I hope that the people watching on your website and radio show, take it in and say the best thing we can ever do to move up in the world or be happier is to be a great listener. And clearly you proved that today, and hopefully I haven't talked too much today.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So what are your upcoming plans?
My upcoming plans, this is my last session in the legislature.
Okay.
I've had an incredible run. This is my 12th year in the legislature, coming to the pinnacle of the legislature, that being the leader of the Senate. I was pursuing the seat for the United States Senate up until July of last year. But what I realized, and maybe there's no lesson for younger people, is you can only handle so much.
Yeah.
And I realized in trying to be the president of the Senate and being one of the people that have a big say in a $70 billion budget and all the laws that we talk about, and trying to run for the United States Senate were just two things I couldn't do at the same time.
Yeah.
And probably like you, I wanted to do one thing really well as opposed to two things not as well as I could have. So I made a really tough choice back in July of last year to not pursue the United States Senate race, despite all the endorsements and all the money we'd raised. I think number one in the country. So what I'm going to do is, once we finish up and I leave office in November, I'm going to continue to teach at the University of Florida, continue to write books. That's what I also do, and I'll probably have some other professional opportunities, consulting, speeches, maybe some think tanks or something, because I still want to participate in politics. But what my focus is on the short term is obvious.
Yeah.
We want to get out of Tallahassee. We want to pass a balanced budget. We don't want to raise one single tax on you because you can't afford to pay anymore. And we want to try to make sure that Florida is seen as the most business-friendly state in the country, where people think when they can come to Florida that they can start a business. I'm looking forward to watching your career grow. This is exciting what you're doing, and you should be really proud of what you're doing, and hopefully a lot of people will take this opportunity to meet someone special like you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
And enjoy your week in Tallahassee, and whatever we can do to help, whether it be maybe we'll get you on the Senate floor, as well as the House floor, and we'd love to show you around.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.